Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 11:11 a.m. Make a wish to the angels, people. And it's 5th of March 2024. My hair's all a bit weird, I don't know why. I just got out of bed, my hair's all buffy and weird. Probably thrashed around in my sleep too much. And you're all in soft focus because everything's smudgy and alright, okay, I can see myself now and still not right though. It's a bit weird. Anyway, I'll carry on. I'm very tired. I've just got out of bed, so I had a reasonably solid sleep, but I only got up twice last night, which is a miraculous improvement, but I'm still wrung out and exhausted from months of sleeplessness and my bladder issues. So anyway, we're soldering on each day as I do, because while I draw breath, I'm alive and I can't waste time being maudlin. I just have to carry on every day in every way and live as though I've got another 20 or 30 or, God forbid, 40 years, although that wouldn't be very realistic. Don't want to live that long. My handsome, beautiful, soulful psychiatrist said, but Tanya, if you found your true love and you had enough money and you had peace in your life, you would want to live much longer because you'd be happy and comfortable and successful and healthy and everything would be sweet. Oh, bless. He's such a sweetheart. He really is a beautiful man. Absolutely beautiful man. But anyway, Mama T's choosing life against all the odds anyway, because it's a hobby. Why not? It's what I do. The gods decree I keep breathing and keep experiencing delight and joy in my life when it comes my way, and keeps soaking me in agape love from people who are quite heartfelt and sincere, and I keep extending the love out to the multiverses as well, and we're all spinning on our little circle, our little we're all vibrating at a higher vibration in our essence and our core and our body, mind and spirit, and we're all twirling the yin and the yang and making magic happen in the circle of life, and it all comes into perfect equilibrium eventually, but sometimes when it comes to perfect equilibrium, you don't even realise it because you're so used to living in complete, utter chaos and, quite frankly, horror. So it is what it is, people. Mama T's awake. I'm awake. I'm cooking on gas. Not quite fully awake either, actually. But I'm here. I'm representing. 25 degrees. It's a lot cooler today. Still feels warm in my room though. Fresh hope for families of people vanished on Malaysia Airlines flight. Isn't that interesting? Because I had that dream about 3 times I said Malaya, which happens to be in Malaysia. So it's little penny drops. My dreams aren't always as nonsensical and crazy as they seem at the time. Anyway, I'm not going to read that article because I'm presenting to you my experiential awareness for what it's worth. Sometimes it isn't worth shit, but I'm alive. I'm alive in a psychedelic dream, and I'm even kind of happy to be alive, which is unusual. And I'm looking forward to some kind of future, though I can't imagine what it will be like at this present moment in time. But I've always lived that way, never being able to know exactly what was going to be the best, most beneficial outcome for me or my planet. And the last 4 years have left us all a bit wrung out and ragged, quite frankly. So, as I said as a comment on the B-side page and on Facebook, we will have to give up on politics because all our politicians are compromised, all of them. The few good ones that tried to speak out and do the right thing were quashed by the majority of demonic-ridden monsters and didn't have a hope in Hades. So we will have to form our own leadership out of our own small communities and tribes. Find people you can trust that treat you honourably, and yes, don't make idols out of people because you never know what their true agendas are in the background of their smiling assassin ghoulish faces. But find people that you know consistently speak the truth and have the courage of their convictions to follow through. And if nothing else, find the people who, will comfort you in your time of grief and your time of travail and your times of difficulties and give you hope. Sometimes that is the most powerful medicine of all. Giving someone hope. I'm always suspicious of hope because I've lived hopeful all my life and it hasn't really brought me terribly good results, but there was very little I could do at those times of my life except hope and pray and keep fighting by continuously waking up each day and dragging myself through each day and going to bed at night and starting again. It's all you can do sometimes. So today's titles, when I said make a wish, I haven't made a wish, but the angels know what I always wish for. It's starting to manifest, but there's always a but. Circumstances aren't completely right, and it may never manifest. Also, who am I kidding? Like, really? Really? But I'm a brilliant, intelligent, talented, sometimes charismatic and charming human, acronym for bitch. And I'm not really a bitch. I'm not, unless someone tries to harm me. You'll meet my bitch. But I'm a wonderful woman, and I'm talented in my own small, unique ways. And I'm resilient, and I'm loving, and there's someone out there that will be genuinely in love with me, and will choose me, and will hopefully do right by me, prioritize me, and it's there's someone out there that has my back and my front and loves me so deeply that they will never seek to harm me, unlike my previous lovers in the past. And I have to remember that not everyone is cut from the same cloth, and not everyone is a monster. And there are good souls in my life right now that are doing everything they can to give me further continuance on this planet so I can carry on being me and dancing my wild dance and writing and making jewellery and whatever other hobbies I immersed myself in at any point in time. And they're showing me that the love around me, all circling around me, I could just pluck out from the ether, is real, but it's has to be done in an honouring, respectful way for all parties concerned. And I don't do triangulations, and I don't do polyamory. I really find that nauseating. Not for me. Might work for other people, but not for me. And I don't do the BDSM and the sadism. So all those things I don't do gives me very limited opportunities to meet decent men who are actually noble and heartfelt and honourable and decent, but it is what it is. Had a very strange thing happen yesterday. I didn't write up about it or put it in my video yesterday. I don't know, it happened after I made my video yesterday morning, but some guy, I think it was a man, pulled up and sat outside it was very odd. I was going to go out and say what's going on here, but I thought it might be a psycho, it might be a maniac. Just stay in my house, stay safe, not engage with idiots, right? But anyway, he had it was a blue sedan. I don't even know what make or model, and I couldn't see the number plate because he was parked directly in front of my window here. But I was sitting here when he parked, and he kind of looked up and waved. I've seen the vehicle before, but I thought maybe he's waiting for one of the neighbours or something. Have to put the aircon on. 25 degrees and it's bloody humid as hell in here. Anyway, it was odd because he sat out there for about 40 minutes. And I thought, well, if he's come to see me, if he's someone that knows me, God almighty, I need new bras. That looks obscene. If he'd come to see me, right, I figured he'd come to the door like a human being. Nah, sat out there for ages. Oh, well, I'm not going out to you. I don't know who the fuck you are. I'm not engaging with weirdness, but obviously it's someone that sits and has their lunch or wasn't eating. Maybe he's an Uber driver that's got lost, or maybe he's a delivery person. No, just sat there for ages, probably wondering why I didn't come out and say, who the hell are you, you know? Anyway, don't worry, people of Earth. Mama T has weapons all around this house. So if I thought he was a nutter or dangerous, you know, I would have grabbed my hockey stick or something, but no, he just sat out there directly in front of my house. Why my house? I don't know. All the houses in the street, he could have sat outside. He picked mine. So maybe it was designed to make me feel like someone's watching me or unhinge me, but I'm not unhinged, just observing. If he makes a regular habit of it, next time I'll come out with my hockey stick and say, what are you doing out here? Fuck it. But I'll make sure I'm prepared. It was on his own, so it wasn't a drug deal. Didn't see anyone come to his car. Not that I watched him the whole time. Could have been casing the joint, as people do from time to time, you know, thinking about robbing houses. So I don't know, maybe I should have called the police about it, but you know, our police, Queensland police, are fairly fucking useless, and I have no trust in them either, so. One just recently murdered two beautiful young gay men, another young policeman, obviously gay too, but this is the world we've got now. This was happened in New South Wales, but anyway, our police staff are all gone psychotic and dangerous as well. well, not all, but, you know, there's something wrong with the training program that they can let someone with homicidal maniac tendencies through that system, right? It's under review now anyway. Nothing will get done. 2 men are dead, can't bring them back. Nothing will get done. It all gets swept under the carpet. That's Australia for you. The land of the criminally insane, and the land of the enforced injectables, and the land of the corrupt, and the land of it's the convict generation, convict ancestry has bred some very, very strange kind of mores into the people. I tell you what, the old school convicts from 100, 200 years ago, they had courage and guts. They would not have gone along with the last regime. They were real people surviving real world difficulties, sent to the antipodes basically almost to die. Hard. They did it hard. But now, 2024, Australia, mate, even your police are like having jealous little fucking lovers tiffs and murdering people for the love of all the gods. It's just, it seems utterly ridiculous, except it's really happening, people. Anyway, you can see I'm not in a very happy mood today. I'm feeling a bit dark. But there's a lot of darkness that I have to flow light into, and how you flow light into something is, first of all, you shine the light on the truth of it, and then you try and make sense, pardon me, out of what is often nonsensical, crazy, batshit stuff. And then you've got to somehow try and survive it, because sometimes there is no logic behind any of it. It just is. So yes, I've been consciously and unconsciously looking for my tribe, people that I know in an emergency. God forbid there's another massive emergency, will have both my back and my front and will be protective. And if they can't protect me for whatever reason, because in a war or in a crisis situation, it's every man, woman and child for themselves, at least that I know that they'll be loving and have compassion and sweetness towards me as I slowly go into declension from my physical corpus and into the void. And I know who I can't trust now. And that was quite heartbreaking for me. But I knew before, I knew by the way my daughters treated me when I had the major surgery in October 2007, how abhorrent they were. I knew then. They're not on Mama T's team. They'll never be safe to be around, really. But because I'm their mother and they're my daughters and they're all I had, I held on against all hope anyway. A bit Pollyanna and delusionary, and yes, there were some sweet times I've had with my elder daughter, and now it's all gone. So today's title is called Strange But Beautiful Encounters with My Earth Angels, smiley face. And the meme I made, I was practicing making memes, but I'm not very good at it. Another thing I'm not very good at, like Life 101. Here we are. Thriving. Thriving is another hobby of mine. trying to thrive in a world gone completely mad and topsy-turvy and inverted and, quite frankly, most of the time evil. I'm striving to thrive. I guess I always have, even as a little girl, kept striving to thrive. I was surrounded by the most intense enmity and evil, but it is what it is, people. It's a hobby. Now, I'm not sure why, but there's no posts for the last 3 years, so today must have been a quiet day in the recent years. Nothing to report of any interest. Sometimes even these aren't all that interesting, but I was writing for the sake of writing and psychobabbling. So here we go. 5th of March 2020. I had a lovely visit from Lynn. We talked and laughed for hours. We sat in the garden until the midges drove us mad, then talked even more. Lol. Bobo was happy to see her, as was Charlie, feeling much happier now. Here's some happy news. These are going backwards in time, people. So earlier that day. Here's some happy news. My electricity bill arrived. I've been a bit worried as I've had to use the wonderful, miraculous gift of the aircon quite a lot as, you know, climate change and old lady-itis was killing me. But my account remains in credit. Few and few. Yay! So relieved. No overhanging debts even with the extra usage. So that is a bonus. I will leave the credit there though, as winter is coming and we had almost no winter last year. I used the heater for only 2 nights, so perhaps this will alleviate my energy bills also. One small mercy in my absurdist life. I just received the claim forms for a class action for the pelvic mesh tape with Shine Lawyers. Just the thought of dealing with lawyers ever again has made me feel feeble in the mind, unable to think clearly. CPTSD triggered. I rang them to find out if there would be any costs and they said definitely not. If I claim, I would be considered a group member. The deadline is 9th of April 2020, so that gives me little time to decide if it's worthwhile making a claim at all. But as my symptoms are worsening in recent years, I will put in a claim, if only as a matter of principle, as there are many, many women who were severely handicapped by this, and I figure everything looks blurry. I think I need to get my glasses reviewed. And I figure mine will boost the numbers. I don't expect to receive any or very much compensation as my damage has been mild compared to many other women. Well, has it really? Chronically fucking ill ever since. Has it been mild? I don't think so. But it's mild compared to the women that are confined to wheelchairs and couldn't have normal sexual relations with their partners anymore, and we're writhing in constant agony and incontinent, and you name it, everything went wrong for those women. So I hope they get the right compensation, and I hope we all get it soon, because by the gods, it's been a long battle, this one as well. I've just been sitting back very, very quietly because my nervous system can't take any more battles with lawyers or class actions, or I'd be battling AGL now, fighting them, going to the Ombudsman about their systemic abuse, not giving me my refund, but I don't have the energy. in the broad scheme of things, they get away with it because my ability to give a fuck is like wrung right out of me, and they shouldn't be allowed to get away with it. They really shouldn't, but I'm too tired. I'm too wrung out. So that's where we're at now. I hope those women who were severely harmed by this get adequate justice, as I know personally how that goes for women in the court system, usually remarkably badly. "4:20 a.m, not sleeping, but I slept a great deal in the past 4 days as I was too weak, so now I have to endure sleeplessness again. Hurdy-gurdy, right? My lungs are behaving better, so that is a huge positive. I feel stupid, as all this time I could have been taking my Seretide, but I hate steroids. The last chest illness, which wasn't COVID, I had in 2020, even Seretide wasn't working. So my idiot GP, former GP, gave me a drug called Brio that made me break out in the most terrible ulcers all around my mouth, and I was so ill on that, so I had to go off that. It kind of helped the lungs a bit, but it made me break out. So anyway, I've got no Ventolin left and no steroids in the house, so I'll have to organise that. It's another thing I need to organise ASAP, is see a GP and get scripts for those. So I know, I've been saying it for over a week, 2 weeks even. I hate going to doctors that much. I don't trust them anymore. Haven't found one I can trust except for my psychiatrist. And in 35 years, almost 36 years of living in this country, 35 and a half years of living in this country, was unable to find one trustworthy doctor that I could have a good rapport with and trust with my life, right? That's frightening, people, given how unwell I've been all my life and how I've been marginalised and delegitimised by my own doctors, by the way. Evil is what they've been. Long before this COVID regime started up, by the way. They were already compromised a long time ago. Now one in my ear plus the Seretide, meaning steroids in my ear. Oh well, it is working, so that is what matters. Prednisone did not even touch the sides a few weeks back, just made me hypomanic. You know you're in serious danger with your lungs when prednisone doesn't work. It usually nips it in the bud straight away. So here I go, slowly climbing up from that long bout of illness to perhaps get back to a much healthier state of normality. Fingers crossed. Well, instead of the lungs, I'm hammered with the bladder. And if they fix the bladder, no doubt something else will go wrong and I'll be hammered with that. So I'm kind of sick of being sick, people. It's been a lifetime of it and I'm over it. I really am over it, but every day's another day. I need something beautiful to happen in my life so I can get excited about life again. And anyway, that's ridiculous too. It's not real either. 5th of March. See how I talk myself down? But there's something beautiful that happens is sitting in my garden, having little visits from the wild birds, and it's not all... Nothing is all lost. I was doing a trance, was it a trance drumming the other night, and I can tell I was speaking to my Māori cousins' grandparents, which they hadn't identified themselves as that. She gave me a different name, but halfway through the the trance drumming messaging, they said, ka pai katoa, which is Māori. And I was like, oh, it must be the Māori ancestors coming through because I don't speak Māori. So I Googled it, and it means, ka pai means good, right? I knew ka pai means good, but I didn't know what katoa means. Anyway, it says, all will be well. And do you know, I almost burst into tears having my cousins, great-grandparents telling me, all will be well. But they're spirits, right? All will be well probably means all will be well when I transition this body and get out of this hellscape. But they're making me all these sweet romantic promises, and I'm not buying into it. Oh, but the other thing they said, tryptamine, I had to Google that. That's an LSD and cannabinoids and DMT. I'm like, what? Tryptamine? I'm not going to take fucking tryptamine. I said, that's a drug. And I Googled it. It's found in magic mushrooms. So the spirits are still hinting at me after all these decades since I was a very young girl, 16 years old when I first came to Brisbane, when my father and I did Ouija board and some random spirit was telling us to go and do magic mushrooms, which thankfully we did not do, because my father had no idea about drugs, and neither did I was a child. But small quantities, very small quantities of magic mushrooms, microdosing it, can help cure complex PTSD. So the spirits way, way back then, even when I was a teenager, were trying to steer me into that to cure my complex PTSD, right? And as I said, thankfully we didn't, because my father was an idiot. He would have overdosed us and killed us both, because he was stupid and hadn't. Well, he wasn't stupid, but we had no idea about dosages of magic mushroom. Even if we found them, we wouldn't even know if they were the right things. So it was very dangerous messaging to be receiving. And I used my intellect at 16 and said, oh, Dad, I don't know if this is a good idea. We don't know what we're playing with here. We don't even know who we're talking to. It could be something demonic. I think we'll just let it go. And when I came back home to New Zealand, I asked my friend, who was a seasoned drug taker, I said, what's magic mushrooms? Some spirit wanted me to take them. She hit the roof. She said, you could have died, Tanya. Don't ever dabble in that. Which is kind of ironic, since she herself was regularly dabbling, you know. But she was very protective of me. She was like a sister to me, and I'm grateful for that. All my friends around me at that point of time were all on various forms of illicit drugs, but I was protected. I wasn't allowed anywhere near that, and I thank the gods for that, because with my childhood traumas that were already immense by the time I was 13, 14, 15, 16, I would have ended up like our Lucy on heroin, and would have, in my case, I would have died. Because when I do things, I commit, man. So, yeah, frightening thought. But anyway, here we are all these decades later. Magic mushrooms being mentioned again. Well, they didn't say it that way. They said tryptamine. Anyway, I am eligible. It is legalised now, and I am eligible to have, therapeutic microdosing or dosing of stuff like that in a clinical setting with a doctor monitoring me, and to heal my complex traumas. But my psychiatrist won't allow it. He said, I worry it'll be too much for your brain and tip you over the edge, and it's also hellishly expensive, and I'd have to release you to the care of another doctor, and you'd be under their care then, and I guess he's frightened that there would be an end of our therapeutic alliance and the beginning of an alliance with someone else who might not be quite as honourable or trustworthy. So it's a reasonably, cognitive relevant fear, given my issues with other doctors, right? So no, I don't know why the spirits were mentioning tryptonine, but no, I'm not going to dabble in that. I'd have to find someone who was a professional magic mushroom journeyer and could give me the right dosages at the very least, and then I'd need someone to put me in a safe contextual setting to monitor me, my blood pressure, everything, because my brain is rewired and rewired and rewired since early childhood with all the near-death events, so I don't react to drugs like other people do. It can be quite frightening and intense. So I won't be doing that, but it's odd that they mentioned that. Now let me see, what else did they mention? Most of it was just romantic waffle that I know deep down is not true. And if it is true, it'll have to manifest in a real 3D reality, heartfelt communication, dating way. Until that happens, it's all waffle and schoolgirlish fantasies and parts of my brain defragmenting, wanting something I can't have, right? So I don't buy into that nonsense, even though I've assiduously written it all down, just in case it did come true. Then I can refer back to the notes later on and go, oh, whoever that entity was telling the truth, right? But they show me in tiny little ways, like, I got my stalker again. They show me in tiny little ways, like Friday when they said something lovely is going to happen and you will have enough money. That was 2 things, and lots of lovely things. 4 lovely things happened on Friday, actually. The random hug from the young woman that ran up to me and said, I feel inspired to hug you. The young man approaching saying, play zombie. Sort of didn't even make eye contact with me, but must know that I like that song. And Ness having a little chat at the end of the night, sharing her pizza with me, telling me, it was a powerful message from Ness, actually. It was beautiful, and I was very thrilled for her. She was telling me that her boyfriend has bought a car for them to do up what did she say? What model was it now? I can't remember the model of the car. But something they're going to, customise. And she said it was the most romantic gift a man has ever given to me because it's something I've always wanted to do. And she was thrilled, I said, oh, that's beautiful, Ness. And she looked at me really heartfelt. She said to me, my boyfriend, she said, was my first love when I was a young girl, many, many years ago. She said he was my first love, and then he moved to the Blue Mountains, and we were separated by time and space, and things happened. She said, and I had nothing but horrific relationships after that. She said they were all utterly monstrous. She looked at me meaningfully, and I nodded. And she said, and then we found each other again, and we're so happy, and we're going to do up this car together. And she was so emanating real light and joy and excitement and love, It made me so happy, because my motherly instinct, my mama T instinct, is I want everyone to have real love and be in love with life. I mean, what else have we got? We don't even have that much, So I looked at her, I said, I'm so happy for you, Ness. And because I'm a mother, it's kind of brainwashing and programming, I suppose. I turned to her, I said, do you think you might get married? And she looked at me so heartfelt and she said, oh, I hope so. And Juddy was standing behind her because he was, putting away all the equipment because their night had ended, they're packing up the band. And he saw the look on my face, and I said, oh, that's good, darling, I hope so too. I said, I'm almost 59 in April. I said, and I've been waiting for my true love all my life. All my life. I said, and I had nothing but monstrous relationships all my life. And I said, and I have this fantasy that, it was prophesied that someone is coming when I'm 60. I said to her, but you can't put faith in prophecies sometimes. And I said, so I despair that it's ever going to happen for me. And she said, oh, Tanya. And I said, no, it's okay. I've been alone for 29 years. I can go another 29 years if my health holds out. I said, it's actually okay. But I said, I looked at her, I said, but everyone deserves their own true love, even me. And she went, oh, yes, we do. And behind her, I saw Juddy do a little nod. And I thought, you know what? They really do love me from all my quirky, oddball ways. They know I always speak the truth about who I am as a soul and what I want for other souls on this planet. And it's true what I said. Everyone deserves their own true love. Someone that loves them completely and honourably and decently and sweetly and romantically and passionately. And here I am, I've got this new subscriber stalking me on my YouTube channel, being very sweet and attentive, and it's creeping me out. So, but that's because I don't know this person and they've been a little bit over the top. OTT. So, but it's kind of funny. I get sweetness and romance and people being attentive and it creeps me out. But the reason is I'm not used to it and I find it weird and what's your agenda? And anyway, it is what it is. Again, I remind you, my YouTube channel is not a dating agency, and although I talk about wanting my true love partner, I'm not looking for you gentlemen on the internet. Sorry, but you have to get back in your box and behave yourselves. But good morning to you, dear goddess. Anyway. So, yes, I'm having a hot flash. I'm getting stirred up here. That's how much it creeps me out. Really does. I feel so. My whole spirit's wanting to. Oh. In real life, if this person was in real life, I'd say, what are you doing obsessing about me every morning and every evening? It's not normal. Go and take a cold shower. Dear goddess. Don't even know these people. So, anyway, I will continue to speak my truth though, because there are good people out there that benefit from this, who aren't creepy and weird and don't run with it, by the way. And if you get too freaking creepy and weird, I have the power to delete my entire channel, and then you will ruin it for all the people that desperately need my stories and my life histories so they can see they're not struggling on their own against the most demonic, malfeasant, evil, perverted paradigm that we've already lived through, right? Some of you, the last 4 years were the first time you ever went through something like that. Well, I've lived through it all my life, which is how I knew not to buy into the bullshit narrative, people. How I knew it was bullshit and toxic and, by the way, dangerous. So that was my backhanded gift from the gods. Complex trauma since early infancy. Thanks for that. But it built me strong enough to survive even weird ass, persistent, pernicious, wannabe internet lovers. Anyway, where was I when that happened? I was sharing aspects of my notes from you. All right, yes, I was telling you how it's all romantic, psychobabble, and I don't even believe any of it. There's a few little pearls though. One is timing is being tweaked appropriately. The timelines, that's a good thing, people. I put prayers for our timelines to be tweaked, because our reality has gone very flubbery and weird, and what does Thomas Sheridan call it? A wave function collapse, which I completely believe that. I can see that too. When reality is kind of collapsed down on itself and the whole world's immersed in some level of kind of psychosis. It was a bit astonishing what happened in the last 4 years. Just see what else is in my notes here. They said triangulate, which I'm not happy. I do not like being triangulated, and I do not try not to. I don't consciously triangulate others. Sometimes I'll say to my friend Jared, "Oh, I've got this man interested in me," but Jared and I are family, like brother and sister, and I'm telling him when I get excited when I meet a lovely man that I'm actually interested in, myself personally. I tell him about it, so maybe that's a form of triangulation. Maybe could be misinterpreted. I'm trying to make someone jealous, but I'm not like that. I'm just talking about my excitement over being in love with someone, right? So they keep saying to me, triangulate. That's come up in my notes before, in my trance drummings before, so that is a kind of a warning. It's got me a bit spun out, actually. Triangulations is something that narcissists and psychopaths make regular practice of doing, turning people against people and being savage, right? Had that a lot with Dave. So it's I take that as a very real warning. Then they said triple goddess, which is the triple goddesses, maid, matron and crone, the 3 aspects of 3 ages of femininity, right? I don't know what they were going on about there. And coincidence, coincide, cooperate. Sometimes I'll just give you one word messages, and then it's up to you how you interpret it, which can be very frustrating. Sensitivity, yes, can be very sensitive at times. I can be. I am very sensitive by nature. I'm what's described as a highly sensitive person, which makes me deeply intuitive as well, but also can make me a bit triggered and vulnerable and easily manipulated at times, but I'm older now and I can smell the rats usually. Here was an interesting little message which caught my attention, because the Spirit said Angostura bitters, which is a concentrated bitters that you put into Pimm's or alcoholic cordials, And I was like, why are you saying that? It said, wipe the bitterness from your heart, rejoice in the sweetness, soak in what is real. Don't fear devils that are imaginary. We told you a long time ago that the One would reveal himself by his consistent devotedness towards you. Yeah, but don't creep me out, dudes. That's not consistent devotedness. That's stalking and weird. That you would know who is true and who truly is in love with you, because he would continuously show up with eyes only for you. Oh, isn't that sweet? But like I said, it could happen. What else have we got here? Right, so that's really all that I got out of that whole thing. Reams and reams of pages. I've got to go and buy some more foolscap folio paper for my crazy trance drumming notes. But anyway, there's a few jobs I've got to do today. I've got to go and buy food. I really hate going out into the supermarkets. Hate it. I've got to buy food, I've got to get paper for writing, I've got to get some new pens. What else do I have to do? That's about it, really. Does it have to happen today? It could happen tomorrow. I won't put pressure on myself. I'm actually not feeling all that well, quite frankly. I'm tired and therefore cranky. No, I'm not really cranky. I'm just tired. Charlie's very quiet this morning, isn't she? March 5th, 2019, watching Roma, which is intensely harrowing, incredibly well-made film. Pain in my left thigh, bursitis again, ? And in left kneecap. My wrists ache too. I have been to my doctor for the medical certificate for my driver's license. I need one every 2 years due to my obstructive sleep apnea. So that is done. According to her scales, Jesus, I weigh 90.30 kilograms. I thought I was 87 kilograms. So gaining weight rapidly, and all she can suggest for my leg and feet weakness and chronic, now excessive fatigue is to lose weight, eat more vegetables, and exercise even more, which is hard to do with a chronic bladder and sleeplessness problem. But I am thinking, if the urologist can calm the signalling down and I get sleep at night, I will go back to dancing both Friday and Saturday, possibly Thursday nights as well. I figure 3 days a week dancing would be plenty of exercise, provided I don't overindulge on, the naughty foods I like to eat. The hot chips and the chocolates and the rubbish, The dancing causes me to be incapacitated for 3 to 4 days after, which is true. So I had to cut down to 1 night a week. I guess I could strive to walk more, although yesterday's long walk in the forest was difficult. I know one thing, in spite of my many and varied health problems, I have outlived my own expectations. So I am one strong, determined Mama T. But today I am aching and weak. I spent the afternoon washing down paintings of Crystal and their frames. I think I meant Crystal's paintings that she'd done. I ruined one painting which streaked paint everywhere. She is going to kill me, but the others came up lovely. When everything is dry, I will store them under the spare bed and cover them with something so they don't get dusty and grimy again. This was while she was in the UK. I was having to store his stuff, right? It was a bit cray-cray. Oh, that can't be right, because she came back in early 2018. This is 2019. Well, I must have been storing her paintings because she was in a tiny little studio apartment, didn't have much room. That might be why that was. 5th of March 2018. Finally vacuumed house, lathered in sweat, awful. So humid today, but got sick of living in my own filth. No family today. Jared has extra work on board and Crystal is sick. But I am thriving. Just got out of bed as utterly exhausted from my jiving, so needed extra sleep. I kept drifting in and out of unconsciousness like an evaporating cloud, then saying, "Nah, fool, get back into the astral. You've got healing to do." So I would drift back into my subterranean world, so peaceful and pretty there, lots of warmth and purity and light, spirits helping me recover, and I don't consciously remember, lots of downloading for the next part of my life mission. It feels like that anyway. No idea what is coming, but I pray only good and positive and life-affirming things. Lots of love from my tribe. Oh, sweet, innit? Tanya Aarons is feeling blissful, and here's my thriving photo again. My thriving meme. Feeling blissful. That's because my kid had just come back from the UK and I was happy to have her back. Oh well. I can do this life alone. I've done it alone for 29 years. It's not so bad. Really isn't. I just struggle against it because, as I said to Ness on Friday night, everyone deserves their true love. And it's romantic folly and stupidity and naivete and silliness, but it's the only thing that keeps me going some days. Sad but true. Anyway. 5th of March 2017, epic healing taking place, grateful and awestruck. Jenny and Brendan gifted me with a laptop today, so wonderful, thank you. I will be able to continue on with my writings, so grateful. And yes, indeed, that was a very kind gift from Jenny and Brendan. Unfortunately, the laptop broke down a few months later. But it was a very thoughtful, loving gift. I actually paid it forward to a friend that was a single mother that needed a laptop. So I gave it to my friend's husband, Peter, because he could fix it up and get it going to pass on to that young lady. Because I had in the interim been gifted this laptop from my friend Sally. It's amazing how many times my computers or laptops die. I've had 33 computers and laptops given to me in my lifetime, people, since 1995, since David McSkimming died and I was given my first computer, right? 33. And I bought one for myself with my inheritance, and that too only lasted 2 years and blew up. But that was the only computer I ever actually bought new with my own money, with my small inheritance. So it's bizarre how many people insist that I have a computer because they think I'm a talented writer, but actually I'm just tired most of the time and don't really achieve much. But anyway, the thought's there, isn't it? The thought is there. 4:45 a.m. Home safe from another beautiful night. There was so much love in the room. I had some interesting reconciliations and conversations. The Lord giveth and taketh away, but then gives in abundance. Amen. That energy certainly does. When they flow things to me, they flow it in abundance. And when they take things away from me, they leave me wallowing in quite abject poverty and a desert of my own mind, and it can be quite abysmal for long periods of time too. So, but I always know, even though when things are bad and I'm struggling financially, that the flow will happen again. It's not always in my control. Happens according to God's will or the will of whoever's running the show on planet Earth. Anyway, but thank you, Holy One. It's been a rough few months financially. I don't know why, but everything went wrong. I bought a wooden blind for the back room, and because I'm getting a bit dotty and sleep deprived, I got the wrong measurements. So I paid at $125 and I lost the receipt, so I couldn't exchange it or get my money back, which I was seriously pissed off about that. So now I've got a brand new blind that doesn't fit my windows, and I'm going to have to sell on Marketplace at a loss, and all that money poured out that I actually need every penny. I'm struggling. So that's a loss basically. And then there was another loss on something else I bought. And so this was since January this year. So it's financially, this has not been a good year for me. It's been a bit, how's your father? But I'm like carefully holding tight, fortnight by fortnight, trying to just hold it together because I don't want any more debt. So I'm sort of recalibrating from that. But I don't know why my finances took a dive this year. It's been a bit weird. But when it flows, it will flow. It comes almost miraculously, where people will bless me with extra money, or they might buy things. I might buy my jewellery eventually, please God. I think that's a waste of time. Everyone's folding up their businesses. But anyway, something might give where I'm blessed financially and in abundance, and that would be lovely. That would be lovely. Get me out of this constant nail biting, teeth grinding, gut grinding stress, right? Just saw a great big kookaburra land on the lines across the road. It's lovely. So anyway, but yes, the Lord gives and takes away, but then gives in abundance, almost like a giant tease, really. I'm well aware of that too. So here, let me bless you with all this loveliness. A few months later, here, let me watch you struggle while I rip it all away from you again, as happened when the gods decreed that Bobo's time was due and to leave this planet. Oh dear Goddess, that was cruel. That was so cruel what I was put through. Unbelievably sadistic and cruel. But it is what it is. Feeling loved and blessed and grateful for the wildness and joy of my spirit, which supersedes all obstacles in my path. I am a force to be reckoned with, but I am also loving, patient, and temperate, even in my madness and grief. Who's that girl running around in the night? Why, me, of course. There are things I have lost through no fault of my own, and things or people that might yet find their way back to me in perfect alignment and perfect timing. What did the angels or the spirits say yesterday? We're tweaking. Timing is being tweaked appropriately. Oh, dear Goddess, I do hope that's true. I really do. With harm to none and competition from none. Because I don't want my true love to come to me having to have, upended their entire life. That's not fair, and I don't want that. So anyway, I don't think that person is, I don't think that person has any romantic partnership intentions towards me. I think they're just being kind to me because, I'm part of the music scene, and they're just being sweet, and there's nothing more than that, you know. And I need to calm my farm. Also, women are throwing themselves at him every weekend and during the week at his gigs constantly. So, you know, that would be hard to navigate. If you got into a relationship with him, you have to share him with all the other women that are madly in lust or in love with him in varying degrees. And I need a real and true love that's for me. So there is that. So I've been grinding my own gears for a while, thinking about it, thinking it's untenable, because the man is also a workaholic and is never really home. He's always either working full-time in his business, or he's, you know, doing gigs 4 or 5 nights a week. Like, his wife probably hardly ever sees him. And so that would put a strain on that relationship too. And the man I want for me will choose me, and, you know, not in a slavish or codependent way, because, you know, yuck, gross. I need a man who's a real man and an independent man, knows his own self, and is not needy and desperate, because that creeps me the fuck out too. But I certainly wouldn't want a situation where I'm trying to have a relationship with a man who's mentally, emotionally and physically never there. I had that with my little love obsession with Dave. He was so not there. And in my 5-year relationship with Courtney, he wasn't there either, because he was stoned 24/7. He was literally never ever there. And and we can go on back down through the other relationships and time. So I need a man who's intelligent and loving and authentic, and, you know, there with me and for me, and you know, who creates time, quality time with me, even if he is working a fair bit, because otherwise you don't end up having a relationship, people. Your relationships implode, because you can't build a life with someone when only one person's holding up the romantic, the relationship side of it. It has to be a union based on mutual respect and deep regard that works together, not one person doing all the work and the other person cast off, left floundering. And I refuse to be someone's cast off too. I've had to live like that. So no, I'm okay on my own. I function better on my own, because it's all I know anyway, how to function. Stay on my own, stay happy, stay wild, stay free. But it's good to have that little bit of juicy and loveness. It's been good for me. It's been very life-affirming and ennobling. So thank you, my darling, regardless of the situation we both find ourselves in. I have appreciated your sweetness towards me very much. And I know I'm a silly old chook sometimes, but I'm not stupid. I know what works and what won't work, and I'm a pragmatist as well as a romantic, silly old chook at times. You have to laugh. It's a bit funny. Love is the law, and it is eternal. Blessed be Adonai, that means Lord, who hears my prayers and sees my actions and intentions, my stumbling, crumbling outrage, and still raises me up from the visceral gutter of my existence and allows me to experience good times with good people and gladness in my embattled heart and vainglorious mind. So I wrote that in 2017, and here we are, 7 years later, still enjoying my life as much as possible on Friday nights, dancing, and enjoying, the friendships and the sweetness extended to me, heartfelt, shown towards me. And I'm still thinking about that sweet young woman that, insisted on having a hug with me Friday night. That was very unusual and it came out of left field, but as I said to my friends, it was her that really needed the hug, and it's lovely that she felt drawn to me, and that level of trust and sweetness and kindness. At the end of the day, it's all we have in life left, people. The sweetnesses and the kindnesses we preserve with souls that we come across in our walk or in our dance. And I don't know why I'm so flaming hot. I've got the aircon on 25 and I'm still scathing hot. And it's now 26 degrees. I even feel clammy, it's revolting. Bring the temperature down a bit. Holy macaroni. I've got all these things, like I said, I need to do today. I think I'll just go back to bed. I don't have a fever, I'm not sick, but I'm so hot. This t-shirt's very hot because it comes all the way up to the neck and it's thick material. But hey, I got it for $5 in an op shop and it's Harry Potter and it says love, and I thought that was delightful. So, yes. 5th of March 2016. My sister, and that should read half-sister since we had different fathers, cut me off from my niece and great-niece, which was, she didn't even want me to come to visit to see the baby, which I thought was disgusting, actually. Really disgusting how they treated me, othered me and stigmatised me. My own blood, right? The only thing those bastards would smuggle in would be a razor blade to kill myself. This must have been in response to some article about, I don't know, prison or something. I find it interesting that I used that particular analogy, so it must have been in response to something. They hate the truth I brought to the table that much. Elitist assholes and pedophile enablers, thieves, liars, sycophants, and perverted narcissists. After being raised by them, I had no hope at all. Can you even imagine how it felt to have her describe herself as a high caliber person? You know what is high caliber? Standing up for justice and righteousness, working in the fires of hell to make sure shit never happens again to your baby sister or any other child. By the way, my sister is a lawyer by profession, so she had more than most, the high caliber and the qualifications to have brought that whole family of filth down, right? No, instead gaslit and scapegoated me, her baby sister. That's how evil and perverted she is. Defending your baby sister's honour when she finally speaks out and taking the evil bastard to the police, which as a lawyer she knew was wanted and needed. not selling her out when their dementing mother became increasingly vicious because, and quote, this is what she actually said to me, "You know, you are over there and I am here, so suck it up, buttercup." That's what level of sociopath she is. She left me with all that struggle with our dying mother. Not faking your identity to pretend to be a superior person when all that ever existed in your life as a child was tainted by shit. Yeah. Stuart world. So instead of punishing your mother, stepfather and paedophile uncle, you punish your baby sister and her children. Fuck you, Angela. Dead sisters don't cry or lie or deny. We rise above your cognitive dissonance and hatred, and one day, bitch, we will even thrive before we take our final dive into the void. Yeah, even as a dead sister, I am still more courageous, genuine, loving, and fucking honourable than she. Oops, brain fart. But according to Angela, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste products happen, smiley face. That's how she used to talk to me when I was desperately ill, shuffling like an automaton with Parkinsonian symptoms, drooling on heavy psych meds to survive all the abuse that had been flung at me since early childhood and was still concurrently still happening, by the way. That's how she spoke to me. So you can see why, yes, I write quite savagely there, but that's the background of that. Telling me my mind was a terrible thing to waste, implying that I was useless and ugly and deserving of all the horror they threw at me, right? And by the way, my parents regularly told me during my childhood that I was useless and stupid and ugly, and yet I'd come home with excellent school reports with mostly A's and B's, C's for maths, of course, because I was never good at maths. It's probably why I can never be a musician either. I can't get the mathematical constructs right, you know. But having said that, I'm brilliant in other ways. But I was always put down, delegitimized, marginalized, stigmatized, brutalized by my own family of origin and later in my marriage too. Put down by someone that could barely, it doesn't matter now. I can't even speak about it because I just want to vomit in my mouth when I think about how utterly ignoble and evil and stupid my ex-husband was, and yet he constantly put me down. A woman who actually made it to university even though I dropped out due to the constant rape threats. Like, I'm one of the 1% of people in New Zealand society in 1982 that got accepted into university, but they had the nerve to tell me I was stupid. And you know what? I internalized that and believed it for a very long time, that I was somehow stupid and unworthy. And I must have been stupid and unworthy because I chose to marry that man. I mean, how much more stupid can you get? We won't even mention the men that brutalised me long after my divorce that I invited into my life. What does Cher say? Some of the men I married I wouldn't even have a cup of coffee with now. Oh, I laughed and I cried when she made that comment years ago now, probably in the late 90s. I laughed and cried so much I fell off my chair. Cher was right, utterly right. So, sorry, my computer's, while I was doing that little ran-tan-tan, my computer did a ran-tan-tan of its own and flipped everywhere, trying to find where we are. 4:32 a.m. Finally back in bed. I had fun dancing, but more importantly, I was given some pretty special validations. A young woman I had protected several weeks ago while on the dance floor, whose boyfriend was enraged and acting threatening, came up to thank me tonight. She said, "Wow, you look stunning." She said she was very grateful for what I did for her. She had finally broken free of him. As she put it, she is unleashing the chains. I told her I was proud of her and she was a strong woman, so don't keep making the mistake like I did, still attracting assholes at almost 51. She said she would try not to. She disappeared, then came back to thank me again. I want to cry when I think about that I have been a good influence on some people out in the music scene, just by showing up, holding my ground, and being occasionally protective. And why do I do that? Because I didn't have that level of protection growing up in my family, or in my marriage, or in my 30s or 40s, and up to 50s. It's only my psychiatrist that completely protects me as best as he can, given I only see him for debriefs once a fortnight, right? But he is an honourable, decent, loving man, and I'm grateful that I have him in my life. Without his years of therapy and deconstructing my life, I probably would not be here. I said to the young woman who thanked me again, I said, "It is nothing. You would have done exactly the same for me." She nodded. Lanky little skinny thing with smashed front teeth, but a sweetheart. I too, were it not for my small inheritance, would have been sporting ugly front teeth. Poverty shows up first in a smile. After she left me, bowing to me like a queen, for which I chided her not to do that, as she is as good as I am, it was a tad surreal. I told my friend Jo about it. She said, "You never know in life how you can dramatically change someone's life, and it is good she lets you know that." I felt genuinely surprised. Then Adam mentioned that Gina loves me so much because she knows she is safe with me. Another validation. Then Steph showed up and asked me if I had self-banned from Irish Murphys or was I coming back. I've got to shake my head on that one. He was obsessed with me coming back to Irish Murphys, right? One of my few male suitors that was obsessed that I dance in that space. I said, "No way will I go back until there are new owners or the place goes broke." He said I was cutting my nose off to spite my face. I said, "On the contrary, I don't need to give my time and energy to a venue that abused me and many other women. I would not be crawling back for more abuse." He said the pub was quiet tonight, so was the casino. I said, "Really? Seemed busy when I walked past to come to the casino. They were playing Zombie." He said, "They played it too early. The place was dead. I smiled. My one and only curse to ever work, for which I had to get very, very hurt, angry, and outraged. I said to Steph, pardon me, if they truly want me back, then they can do better and give me a full apology from the owners and make it worth my while. Screw that. Even then I would probably just laugh. Steph says I was absurd. I said, no, I am a realist. You don't get to damage me, then expect me to forgive so easily. I said, anyway, you are the only one who likes me over there, so why would I bother with those people? He nodded. He tried to tell me it had new owners. I said, nope, not true. New management, but same owners. I had been invited back a few weeks ago by the chief of security there, Jeff, who was also obsessed with me, wanted to stare at my ass while I do my tribal mosh every weekend, right? That's what the only reasons they wanted me there, so they could lasciviously leer at me and then go home and jerk off for hours or whatever it is men do after staring at a woman's ass all night. Let's be real here. It wasn't true friendship that they were motivated by the way. So anyway, I made sure back then. I'm trying to figure out what all this pressure is to get me back dancing there. It's not like I was part of the entertainment or paid to be there, apart from some former friends who turned like fucking rattlesnakes on me, who used to buy my drinks occasionally. I find it all very weird. Anyway, life goes on, and I will stand by my decision to keep myself safe from abusers, turncoats, and backstabbers. Life is beautiful when you set yourself free. I dance to my own tune, and I drive my own car, and I jive to my own beat, and sometimes I swing from the chandeliers. No one fucks me over without consequences. Time takes time, but karma is beautiful and so satisfying. 5th of March. So hang on, what year was that all happened? I think it was 2016. Yeah, 2016. So yeah, Steph kept that up for quite some time. And my friend Morris. You coming back to... No. You coming back to Irishman? Morris at one time said, come with me on my arm. I'll walk you in. Everything will be fine. I said, what? Like I need a man to walk back into that cesspit? Like I have to come on your arm so you can big note yourself that you've dragged the Tanya back into your lair? I don't think so. Even he had to laugh. He was like, oh, Tanya, we just want you to come back. I went, no. Beneath my dignity to go back there. I will go back when that place goes broke. I will bring all the women that were ever sexually assaulted or abused in that place. We will dance out the front and sing RESPECT at the top of our voices like Irish banshee calling that place down into obliteration. And I will never give up on that dream, people. Even though I'm not that angry anymore. Time does take time and the anger has seeped out to a certain degree. But by the gods, my curses remain. They're put there for damn good reason. I'm not going to betray my own self by reneging on my own freaking curses, people. Like, give me some credit. I have integrity, unlike many, many other people out in that scene. Well, anyway, the Irish Murphys scene. Anyway, you have to laugh. It's a little bit funny. 5th of March 2015. I had my first yoga lesson in about 15 years. It felt great. I got a discounted price for $10. Normally costs $20 casual rate. After the class, which was at Newstead, I drove to West End as I felt like jackpot noodles. I blew my lovely yoga zen mood by driving around for 15 minutes looking for a park. In the end, feeling rattled, I drove towards home and had dinner at Miss India. Now home safe. Hot house. Lol. I didn't keep up the yoga. It would have been very good to me. But what happened was I went to that class. It was a very nice class. But the instructor was German with a very strong German accent. Well, hey, my mother had a German accent. Like, I'm not bothered by the accent so much. But the problem was he was very handsome and he kept looking at me. And, I'm short, fat hobbit. All the other yogis are lithe and thin and clearly intermediate or advanced level yogis, right? And I'm trying to contort my short, fat hobbit body into impossible contortions because I'm a beginner and I'm not that lithe. And he's watching me struggle. He was trying not to laugh. He actually did laugh at me at one point, which isn't very nice since he was the teacher. But look, even I saw the funny part. He had us with one leg sort of kind of over our head, and I'm sliding over, and I'm losing my balance. And then I'd reef myself up. And he was actually a bit impressed because he could see I was losing it, but I was kind of trying to pull myself back up too. Anyway, he said something to me in his accent, but it was in Hindi or some yoga term, You've got to do the Swamarani Svatanara or whatever it was. And I'm just like taking it all very seriously because I'm trying really hard, right? And he burst out laughing. Oh, you prick. You really are a bit of a prick. But, because he's German, what can I say? Zero's a history, darling. But anyway, he's laughing at me struggle. But, he wasn't trying to humiliate and put me down, but he could see me just sliding out. And at the end he said, this was maybe a bit too advanced class for you. I was like, yeah, you think? And also he said, but I'm very impressed how hard you tried. You did very well, Tanya. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I never went back. I should have gone back. I would have been a yogi by now. But anyway, this is what happens when I join exercise classes of any description or any kind of sporting activity. The minute I join them, I make a goddamn fool of myself and I get humiliated, and then I get angry about being humiliated, and then off it goes, Even the abuse I encountered in Irish Murphys, because they didn't like me guarding my own little spot and protecting the other women and some men, by the way. And it all went toxic and evil, right? This is what happens as soon as I join a group that will have me as a member. Invariably, it turns savage on me. And I don't know why that is. It must be in my astrology chart, my horoscope. It must be destiny. It must be fate. It must be some evil fucking shit. But I'm still fighting against it to this day by continuously showing up and strutting my stuff. And by the way, I don't dance formally. I can't really dance like formal, ballroom dancing. And because again, if I feel orchestrated and regimented that I have to do a certain step or hold myself a certain way, I won't do it, which is why some of you who love me in the music scene in Brisbane have worked it out. I just dance my stomping, crazy tribal mosh because my body is so used to dancing that way. But try and dance a waltz with me and I'll be all fingers and thumbs and stomping on your feet and missteps and tripping over myself. So it's hilarious, people. But it's because I hate being regimented and I hate being made to conform to other people's ideas. And yeah, one day I'd like to learn the tango though, just because it's passionate and sexy and charismatic and wild, and it's also a dance of war between the sexes, isn't it? So there's no accident that the only dance I really would like to learn is how to dance off against a man and flick him back and pull him in and flick him out again and have all that wild, passionate display. But could I do it? Probably not. I'd probably fall down on my ass and some yogi teacher out there with a German accent or the equivalent would be laughing his ass off at me, and I'd give up on that too. No one likes being laughed at and humiliated. Sometimes I do laugh at myself while I'm dancing though. Sometimes I stop and I'll just throw my head back and laugh and laugh and laugh. And people around me, what's that mad woman laughing at? But I'll sometimes just see the funny side of how ridiculous my entire life has been. Not even able to find a truly loving partner. And I'll just look at it all and I'll see other people and go, why can't I do that? Why can't that work out for me just fucking once? But I just have to laugh, you know. It's so ridiculous that you just have to laugh. Anyway, here I have posted an article, why 80% of people worldwide will soon stop eating wheat or die. And I replied, scary shit, would explain my fatigue, IBS, arthritis, and general feeling of blarness. I have started cooking with coconut oil, love it. I stopped that after a while too because it was fattening. But anyway, I'm mainly just cooking olive oil now. But coconut oil pulling for your teeth and gums is very good. I should get back into that. That's very helpful, people. Pardon me, got very bad indigestion today. Pardon me. I only had like a bowl of muesli. I don't know what's causing the indigestion. But anyway, I posted a song, the script, Superheroes. Don't even know what that song's about now. Probably have to listen to it again. But I wrote, thanks, Sherry. The song was playing as I drove to my psychiatrist appointment yesterday. Yes, we who have suffered grow hearts of steel, and we learn to fly while turning our pain into power. God bless your heart and soul. We got this. Hugs. 5:15 a.m. Boker Tov, Lila Tov. That means good morning and good night. Time to snooze before I unravel the remains of my sanity. 2:11 a.m. So earlier that morning. Again with the 11s. Okay. Lol, okay, angels. Show me proof that you hear my prayers. Be careful what you ask for. I am only human and I wax impatient. Lol. I have been busy. Made pancakes for dinner with leftover mix. I cut up all the limes I was unsuccessful in selling at my front gate. They were beautiful and juicy. I froze down ice cubes of lime juice. Then with the skins and remaining pulp, I boiled them in my copper pot that I burnt the other day. Came up like new. Then I used them to polish the outside copper, cheap Aldi copper pots all stained. With a bit of swearing, sweating and scrubbing, they came up pretty good too. Gee, that's another job I have to do today. Well, not today, but I need to get the stuff today. It's been on my mind for weeks now. I've got to go to Bunnings and get the rust converter so I can clean all my copper, right? And brass. is that job needs doing. It's all looking manky and oxidised and ugly now. All night, the moon called to me, "Go out, psychedelic dreamer, go out." I wanted to run wild from my monthly howling. The moon madness was intense. Yes, I'm susceptible to the moon too. Highly sensitive person. Dear Goddess. Wonder why my aircon's not bloody cooling down enough. Put it down to 23. Let's see what it does now. Getting a bit bloody livid, people. It's working. Instead, I did some more washing, hung it out, breathed the night air, celebrated my freedom from abusers. I will go to Byron on Friday. The moon is mine. I could even go tomorrow, but I booked a yoga class at New Farm at 6 p.m. Yoga or Byron? Full moon, the sea. Tomorrow I will decide. Should have just fucking gone to Byron, people, instead of being laughed at by crazy German yogis. But it was kind of funny. Credit where it's due. Me on the bones of my ass, slipping sideways. Story of my life, really, isn't it? I mean, you have to laugh. 5th of March 2014. Thank you to the beautiful people who are paying for my electricity bill. This is a huge help. Grateful woman here. I'm glad to be home alone tonight. I've been cutting down the heliconias, now have them in a vase. Tired but happy. Tomorrow I meet my cousin Melvin for lunch. Melvin, who is now Milicia Rose. He transitioned to be a woman at 70 years of age, which was astonishing, but I'm happy for her to find their true self. Money is very tight, so I will have a coffee, I guess. I haven't seen him, back then he was still a him, for a while, so it will be nice to catch up. I have checked my inbox and found all these random messages, mostly from spammers wanting to marry me and have my babies, lol, but was surprised to see some actual friends had tried to contact me and it had gone to the inbox, so I never actually received them till now. Apologies to Beats Cartel and Christian Trihorn, again, who was trying to get me some tickets for his gig last December, and I was not getting his messages. Oi. Got there in the end, though. And to my beautiful Annie Osborne, who wished me a Merry Christmas, then wondered why I never got the message. Oi. Lucky we have chatted on Pal Talk since then. Sorry, Annie, for me being a dumbass. I don't understand why the messages didn't come through on my normal message window thingy on the Facebook toolbar, or why I only found them now. I have changed the filtering to strict filtering to eliminate scammers who want my identity, my unborn, never to be born now, I am too old children, so you can't have my unborn grandchildren either. And all jokes aside, they're not happening either in a far out way. My money, got none, so no worries there. Or my soul. Earlier I wrote, I have just seen a beautiful lavender-coloured Pomeranian. Wow, I am so clucky. I must see if I can sell my mother's Ladro, as I could use that to buy another puppy, maybe. Unfortunately, I doubt I will get much for the Ladro. Well, back to drawing board. Still stuck with that bloody white elephants from my mother. dear goddess. I have an electricity bill, a huge gas bill due. I left it on for 2 days, not consecutively, but still the bill will be enormous. And my driver's license to find the money for. Scary. I also have a vague feeling that my mother's fridge is slowly dying as it makes strange noises lately. Life is an ongoing battle for me financially, but hey, you get that. It's still beautiful to be alive, have what remains of my faculties and my health, and be amongst gorgeous friends and my daughter. Blessed. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day. Lunch with my cousin Mel. Then I need to find something to do for several hours after that. Then I pick up Crystal from work at Red Hill. We drive to Warner Brothers movie studios so Crystal can attend her student's graduation. I will either come along to that or go to a movie at Harbour Town or Helensvale or summit like that. Then back to Brisbane to drop Crystal home, then blah, 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 lol. I have had a busy week with doctor appointments, then the dentist today at Inala for the mandibular splint. I don't want really. Oi. Then the social build-up of activities. Life is full. I met a man who sang the blues. I asked him for some happy news, but he just smiled and turned away. Okay, so I burst my bubble, decided to communicate effectively my reaction to my last suitor playing me for a dumb blonde idiot with no soul. I texted him to blow him out of the water. I abhor game players and superficial men. Phew. I feel like I had a nice little purge. Hopefully in time I will meet a man who is not fake or superficially polite to enhance his own prospects. In other words, a charlatan and a liar. This one will have to stay out of my way. I'll be on my side of the pub and he can stay on his. I actually told him that. Never the twain shall meet again. I'm an all or nothing woman, and if you treat me like I'm nothing, then no thing shall you receive from me, including my attention, my amazing personality, or my joie de vivre. Go back to watching, waiting, yearning in your dark corner, boy chick, 'cause this woman is staying in the light, near the band, rocking out with or without you, and loving it. Troglodytes, Neanderthals, and Homo soporific, sanitized, scrubbed up, polished, but not quite interested men can stay in the dark. This reminded me of the hippie filmmaker Frenchman I met once in Byron Bay, who spent an hour or two raving madly to me in French, even though I gently explained that "Ma française est très pauvre, monsieur." That means my French is very poor, mister. Promising me God only knows what delights of lovemaking and sophistication and je ne sais quoi. Then finally, in frustration, when he realized that I could not comprehend any of his gestures d'amour, he thanked me for my attention. Merci beaucoup pour votre attention. I still laugh about that one. He was gorgeous too. I had my kids with me. Like, what did he think I was going to do with two teenagers watching me like halitosis, hags of hell, interfering in any potential love life rotterings? I mean, what did he really think I was going to do? Anyway, he probably told me all the things he was going to do to me, but he spoke so rapid fire. And I don't speak French fluently. I only know a few phrases here and there. Dear goddess. I should go to Paris and immerse myself in Francais, and I think I'd do very well in Paris, darlings. It is, after all, the city of love. Anyway, I'd have to pretend I speak French there too. Some young schoolboys just went past and they were looking and smiling. They probably heard me laughing, wondered what I was laughing at. Men. Quel dommage. Yes, schoolboys fall in love with me too, and it's inappropriate and embarrassing. But my mother had that problem as well. I don't know what that's about. I really don't. But it happens from time to time. Quel dommage. Je vous en prie. What is a woman to do except dites-moi adieu? Okay. I am strangled by my own franglais. Franglais, stranglé, escapé, tour de force, formidable. Je pleure, but not too much, 'cause I find this all rather funny. Like a siren, I lure them from their shadowy safety, where they can drool into their beers, into the bright lights under the stage, where the musos play the lyrics, the poetry of passion and pain, while beneath I rock and sway, jolt and stomp, leap and almost fucking pirouette. At the same time, scouring the crowded pub for enemies or suitors, which pretty much are usually the same people in the same time, the same thing really. And worse, drunken rape-eyed accosters whom I flick away from my flesh with a quick elbow aimed mid-dance at their chest, or kick my legs in just the right way to protect my assets and throw them off centre, remaining hypervigilant and splendid, protective and loving to my fellow women dancers and occasionally the male dancers too, while allowing only a precious few into my space. The one time I let a troglodyte into my life and I get what? Ambivalence, indifference, and ignorance. Lesson learned. Next time I get vaguely interested in a vague man, I will remove myself from the situation. Don't engage with idiots. Ha! Famous last words, darling. Pardon me. Well, I did tell him honestly I was feeling weak and broken as I had hurt my back. Ha ha. And that motherfucker still cycles around me at red lights occasionally, on average 3 to 4 times a year I'll run into him on the road, which is bizarre given how vague and ambivalent, indifferent, ignorant and disinterested he presented himself to be, right? Odd. Very, very odd. Today, Wednesday, I go off to some dentist in Inala. I put exclamation mark next to Inala. Inala's a very rough neighbourhood in Brisbane, people. So I found it odd that I was being sent there. Not that I'm a snob, don't get me wrong. I lived in Logan for 5 years. I'm not bothered by lower socio-economic areas. but it was a strange place for a dentist to want to do my mandibular splint. To see if I can be fitted with a mandibular splint that I don't want and probably won't wear to cure my sleep apnea. Nuts, dreading it. I was basically bullied into going along to that, and I had hesitations, and I'll tell you why. I will tell her I spent $10,000 of my paltry, and by the way, hard-won, inheritance on my front teeth. And there is no way I'm going to shove something in my mouth that will damage what is left of my teeth. It's ridiculous that I'm being coerced by the state to jump through these ridiculous hoops to fix a health issue I've had since I was very young anyway. Hell, we're all going to die of something. Why the hell can't they just leave me alone? Yes, why indeed? Then I write, Anala was interesting, mouth splint happening. It's a risk that it might crack my front teeth, so I'm not happy at all. But the splint is worth $2,000 privately, and I guess I will give it a go if it aids my sleep apnea. I doubt it. Afterwards, I went to Macca's for a coffee frappe and a 30-cent cone. Some guy started talking to me about how he is homeless, but he thinks he might get a place this arvo. Arvo means afternoon. It's Aussie slang. He said he was sad as two of his friends had threatened suicide yesterday. I said, yeah, I know how that feels. He correctly identified my tattoo as the burning bush. I was impressed. So I told him life will improve, albeit slowly, and he said, yeah, bring enough pebbles, you can make a mountain. Then he blessed me, hoping my life is better, and I wished him the same, and we went on our merry way. He was nice looking, intelligent, spiritual, but like me, damaged. I was a bit stunned afterwards. He had silver nail polish on, but was dressed like a man, unusual, eclectic, charming. He wore a pendant of a dragon. Either side he had 2 rings he called halos, and under the dragon hung another pendant which said, love. We both smiled the sad smile at each other when he mentioned the love pendant. Soul kinships. No. He was a lovely man, actually. Probably should have gotten his number or pursued something with him. But he was homeless, and I think he was non-binary, so we could have been friends, you know. I should have pursued a friendship with him. He's a very bright, nice young man. Update 5th of March 2019. I did not get the mouth splint. I prioritised my expensive teeth instead. There's no way in hell I'm going to afford another 10 grand to replace these when they go, in which case I'll be toothless in the front teeth and I'll look very hideous indeed. And that prospect terrifies me, but it is what it is. 5th of March 2013. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock rock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock rock. Now bloody 6:22 a.m. Awake again. That's what I get for my long, delicious, much-needed sleep yesterday. Oh, 1:11 p.m. Make a wish. It's synchronicity when you keep seeing the angel numbers. It's twice today. So today is a very spiritual day, people. Stay alert, stay aware, stay in love with the multiverses and each other, of course. That's what I get for my delicious much needed sleep yesterday, meeting my cousin Melvin at midday. Hope I don't become my usual chattering monkey from sleep deprivation. Sometimes I get pressured speech when I haven't slept much. It looks like bipolar, but it's not. It's just a kind of a hypermania type thing where I'm like blah, 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 and can't stop. But, trying not to die as a practice on a daily basis has strange side effects, people. Just saying. Some people, like my friends down the road, Robin and Peter, they've seen me on occasion when I'm like, but I'm all stream of consciousness and things will just roll off my tongue and I'll have all these interesting kind of, just streaming of consciousness. And I said to Robin, I'm so sorry, I must be so exhausting and draining when I'm like that. She said, no, it's actually really interesting and I find it very entertaining and it's actually brilliant, Tanya. I was like, oh yeah, but I can't do it on demand. It only happens when my brain's defragmenting kind of thing from, sleep deprivation, or if I do too much dancing on the weekend and I'm exhausted, it can sometimes tip me into hypomania after that too. So anyway, I write here, might as well roll over and try for some solid Z's again. Oi. 5th of March 2010, my Auntie Sylvia Shine of blessed memory wrote, Hi Tanya, still thinking of you daily. Don't forget, you are not alone. Love and hugs, Sylvia. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Oh look, she was such a nurturing, mothering, lovely figure in my life. And I replied, Hi Sylvia, thanks for your love and support. I appreciate it. I saw Mum today at the home. She is very dehydrated and running a temperature, so I expect she'll be gone in a few days to a week. She was gone 2 days later, as it is the infection which will be the end of her as we know it. Her pulse is still quite strong. Her heart is beating as strongly as ever, but she seems to be unconscious now and constantly on the morphine infusion, so she is very comfortable and not in any pain. All I can do is wait and pray for a peaceful passing for her. Love and hugs, Tanya. Update, 5th of March 2022. Her messages still comfort me after all these years. My beautiful, wild, Cockney, English, Jewish Rose, Auntie Sylvia. Wherever you are, Auntie Sylvia. So, on that beautiful, poignant, but sad, but beautiful note, because the love remains regardless of which dimension you're in, I will continuously nourish my true loves, dead or alive, people who treated me with sweetness and kindness. I'm going to finish today. It's the end of my readings. I've rambled on. I even read you some of my trance drumming notes, which is highly unusual, people. Probably skating around another hypomania today because I don't usually share those with people. Number one, they're often crazy, and number two, they're often nonsensical. But yes, the Tanya is getting her hopes up about her love life manifesting in 3D reality, in truest, deepest honouring, loyal, faithful love to me, and with harm to none and competition from none. So it is done. And I get my hopes up from time to time, and then other times I sink into the absolute most abject, horrifying, desolate despair, and I have to pull myself back up by that thread of life that reminds me that what did the Māori ancestors say to me? Ka pai katoa, all is well. And indeed it is. Probably all is well from their paradigm, right? Looking down on us mere mortals on planet Earth. In the great big picture of life, all is well. Meanwhile, I'm still struggling on my small corner of hell. Ka pai katoa, you say? Bring it on, babies. You have to laugh. But anyway, much love and blessings to my true beloved ones in the next dimension. Much love and blessings to my true beloved ones here and now in this space-time continuum, alive in physical form and relatively well here in planet Earth. And much love and blessings to the unseen ones who I don't know, that have not met yet, who indeed see my spirit, my mana, my walk and my heart, and love me anyway, and have my back, my front and my sides, and will come to me at the appointed time. And some may even reveal their true heartfelt intentions towards me, and the others that are evil or malfeasant or false can just slough off, and I can invite good, kind, loving, honourable people into my life, and we can build our tribe and our community together of people who are trustworthy and sweet and genuine. I'm looking forward to that. Don't know how that's going to exactly manifest, because it's, as always, in the lap of the gods and allowing for people to have free will and honourable intentions and heartfelt, heart-centred intentions, but always, always free will. But in time, my truly loving partner will, say, "You're the one, Tanya." I'll be like, okay, I feel the same way about you. And we can begin our lives together as a united, happy, in love couple. That's the plan, people. And hopefully our friends and family and business associates and community around us will be supportive and nurturing and loving and protective of that. As all my other relationships I had with men were stymied and sabotaged by the most evil, disgusting, spiteful, envious, malevolent people. That includes Dave, that I fell in love with 10 years ago. There was no hope for anything to ever come good with that. Number one, he was a narcissist, Machiavellian type. And number two, he got off on all the triangulations, shoving women in my face. And number three, all my friends then, and back in the day, Irish Murphys and the casino, sabotaged at every opportunity. There was no hope for that love to ever blossom into something beautiful and life-affirming and soul-nourishing and good. So the man I want to be in my life at the appointed time that the gods allow me, someone at long last, needs to be truly devotedly in love with me, and his friends and family and business associates need to treat me with respect and kindness too, and even maybe like me or love me too. And the same goes for him. If he's going to move into my world, well, I only have very few close friends, but they will have to, I will expect them to include him as part of our sphere of life also. Because there's nothing worse than being in love with someone and your friends continuously tell you that they're no good and they're shit and they're this and they're that, and sabotage, sometimes rightfully so, as happened with Courtney. But then, his friends actually literally threatened to kill me on several occasions. So, didn't go well for them doing that, by the way, because I have mana, but that's not a way to live. Be in a relationship with a man whose friends think that you're a piece of shit and they want you dead, right? No. And by the way, I'm not a piece of shit. I'm a wonderful, loving, powerful woman. But, you get these low-level entities that are demonic-ridden and only want your destruction. So I'm very conscious of that. I'm looking very carefully around my world, and I'm taking particular note of who's showing themselves to be genuine. And like I say, I've been fooled before by, people pretending to be kind, then literally ripping it all out from under me like quicksand when I least suspected it, as happened with Dave. So I'm very circumspect and very wary and very self-protective, I suppose. But I'm looking at how I'm treated and how people were responding to me. And the last 6 months since my beautiful Beauregard's death, I have been gifted so much love and sweetness and heartfelt attentions and kindness that it almost feels like I'm in some kind of dream and it can't quite be real. It's been a bit astonishing. Even that young lady on Friday night running over to me, I feel inspired to give you a hug. It's like, what's going on here? But it's lovely. Don't get me wrong. I'm blessed by it and nourished by it. And it is lovely, but it just took me a little bit by surprise. That's how accustomed to rot and filth and evil and toxicity I had to become after decades and decades of horror, right? So the moral of that story is, people, never give up on love. Remain loving no matter what. People are going to hurt you, debase you, humiliate you, even at a fucking yoga class. But it's not about you, it's about them. Return that negativity and shit right back to them and let them wallow in their own filth and evil and hatred and spurious, spawning cesspit of shit. Because it was never you. It was never you. You know your own heart and soul, what you're capable of, and the love that should have been given to you is a divine right that got twisted and turned by envious, spiteful ghouls. It's never about you, if you're going through similar experiences to me. So hold your head up high, live your best, very best life that you possibly can muster given your circumstances. Me and Housing Commission on a disability pension after being robbed over and over and over again. And yes, steam does blow out of my ears sometimes about that, but I wasn't well and there was nothing else I could have done. So live your very best life, no matter what, no matter who, no matter where, no matter how. Continuously strive to be a loving, good, kind person, although my rage seeps out. Find myself calling people sluts and whores when they're nasty to me, and the rage seeps out and slips out, and I think, oh, was that really necessary, Tanya? But sometimes When you're dealing with demonic entities, you have to speak to them at their level, or they don't understand. Gradually over time, as they evolve and they grow in their own psyche and spirit, then you can speak to them with words of sweetness and kindness, and it'll eventually soak into them. But in that moment, in the crisis moment where they're being threatening and just fucking foul, well, I'm not that kind of a saint that I can just emanate pure agape love to them. But in a way, it kind of is a form of love to mirror back to them their ugliness, so they get to see exactly what I'm seeing, what they're putting down. Maybe it plants a seed and they go away and think about it later. Or maybe they just continuously up the ante, which I've been through that too. But anyway, life is beautiful. I'm still alive against all the odds, against my own expectations. And I'm still in love with life and my gods and the spirits and the fae and my sacred space garden and my earth. And I'm inviting good, kind, loving souls into my world who demonstrate to me continuously and consistently their true hearts and minds, so I may know that they are worthy of my spirit and my love, and worthy of potentially a truly loving partnership in the future. And that's how I'll know. And hopefully I won't be deceived or tricked or lied to or played for a fool like I was in the past. Many, many, many times. Anyway, that's it. That's it for today. Blessed be from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. Bye for now.